opinion on the wave?
I thought it was pretty interesting. I never really realized how much science there was behind the waves itself. I kind of just thought of it more in a philosophical sense, that's just how the world goes. The waves go in and out.
Mostly I think it was a little too technical speaking for a lot of the people here, and I mean, while it related well to the surfing atmosphere, it was just the back and forth was kind of difficult to read.
I liked it for the most part. I mean, I thought that there was enough facts and I could understand it, but it wasn't too bogged down with scientific theories and stuff like that. But I still got a pretty accurate picture of current wave science and why it's important to understand.
It was very cheap and commercial. It kind of sold itself as being scientific in nature, but it was more from the actual content of the book, aiming to be kind of cheap fodder for entertainment, and it honestly wasn't that well written in the entertainment section. So.
Waves that are that big can happen and nobody really understands them, So to me, it was kind of scary that scientists aren't able to predict or understand 100-foot waves, but they happen. Just a few weeks ago, somebody surfed a 100-foot wave off the coast of Portugal. That was really, really kind of interesting and serendipitous that it happened in this semester, but apparently it was if not one of the biggest waves that had ever been surfed, and it was in this semester. It was in
Behind waves?
I think the science was a little bit complicated. When she went to the conference, she was really in over her head too, so I kind of felt the same way as well. And I think it's really confusing, the science and stuff.
Okay.
I thought she could go more in depth, but for the purpose of her book, it seemed like she did an excellent job.
The author would do this odd thing where she would suddenly make a statement like, "Oh, but I just had no idea about all of that sciencey stuff. It was far too complicated for me." And as a journalist, she's not supposed to do that. It's kind of her job to find a way to explain science, no matter how complicated.
Well, I would say that we've had some debate about that, and we had debate about that when we were actually choosing the book, that it didn't seem like it was completely scientifically accurate. And there have been some scientists, on campus who have said that there were things that were inaccurate that she said in the book.
To read.
Yeah, because it's just kind of interesting. You get it really into the surfing part of it, and it's kind of interesting to see how people's lives play out.
Okay. No.
I would say it was good just because it relates to a lot of common themes in Wilmington, surfing culture and stuff like that. But so I'd say overall, I guess,
The book really wasn't very good at accomplishing any of its goals, so actual scientific inaccuracy is a pretty big deal and a large problem. So no, it should not be a commentary.
I do feel like it was a very good choice for this campus, and there's always going to be points that aren't perfect about any book. So we knew that some of the things were not, one of the things we think is that she was kind of in love with Laird Hamilton. And
Right. So if you did more research and found out that some of the things she said weren't accurate, would that change your opinion on the book?
I definitely think, because it's supposed to be a scientific book, so if it's not correct, then you're getting false information. It's a very popular book, and I know every freshman on this campus was required to read it, so that'd be really misleading. So I'd be a little disappointed.
I guess it depends on what the inaccuracies were, but overall, no, because not really, because the main thing I got was that there's just very different ways a lot of different ways that waves affect people, and so I don't think that would really get too lost in the just little nitty-gritty factual stuff.
Not really. It's a book, and people are human. You can't expect to have everything right. So.
I'm Lisa Coates, and I'm the first-year engagement librarian, and I'm one of the people who is on a pretty large committee of faculty, staff, and students of all levels who we're actually in the process right now of choosing next year's. So we meet several times right now in the middle of the year that we're choosing for the next year. And what we do is we whittle it down from people's suggestions on campus and faculty suggestions and books that have been done on other campuses, to see if they've worked and that sort of thing. So we have a pretty huge list that we whittle down to about 4 or 5 that we read over the break. So we have students readers, we have people, freshmen all the way up to seniors, reading the books, and then we all get together in January and make a decision on one. So this one made it into the last 5 books last year, this time, and there's lots of things that go into it. I won't go into the whole thing, but a lot of things that go into it are, do we think that students will enjoy reading it to some degree? We hope that all freshmen will read it, so we try and make sure that it's not too long. This is probably a little bit longer than a lot of the ones we choose. And not that we don't think you can handle lengthy books, but we're giving you a book to read before you even start your schooling, your college. So we want you to read it and hope that you have fun with it. But we also want it to be somewhat to stir up some controversy in some way, or to have some sort of relevance to lots of different subjects and lots of different genres. So we do kind of think about that, and this one was one of the ones that had science as well as the surfing, the kind of sport angle, the ocean, shipping, psychology, like why do people rush after big huge waves like that, family relationships. So there were so many different things that came into this book that we felt like it would be a good read for freshmen. So that was why we chose this one. But I will say that the other 3 books were very different than this. And a lot of times that's what we do. We'll choose kind of very different books, but they all have a few common things in common, that we're looking for the freshman read. So the last time we hadn't had a woman author in either a number of years or at all in the years that we've been doing it. So one of the things last year that we were looking for was a female author. Not that it had to be, but we felt like we've had a lot of male authors. Why don't we try a female author and maybe even a female protagonist or something like that? So this didn't have a female protagonist. It was mostly about men, although there was a female researcher, scientists, but it was mostly about the surfers that were male. It was an author that was a female. But other books that we chose had a couple of really strong women characters. But we want to be careful with that because we want everyone to read it, and we don't want to say, we have a really strong, only the girls will read it and the boys may not read it. So we want to make sure that everyone has something in the book. So the other 3 books that we read were, I think they were all female authors, and some were pretty strong female characters